Good afternoon everyone, and welcome back to another little Canary Islands news update. If you're new to the channel, I am Andrew. I do live here in Tenerife. If you're returning, welcome back. It is a gorgeous day here in Los Cristianos. You can see the waves behind. The ocean is absolutely stunning today. Got a few boat trips behind me as well. So I'm going to jump into the most sort of relevant news that I think it might be important to some of you that's happened over the last week or so. I'm then going to refresh and remind everyone exactly what the rules are for travelling to the Canary Islands in terms of restrictions, if you've got to be vaccinated, what vaccination, all of that going on. I'm going to refresh everyone on that because I'm getting quite a few messages. I've got this many vaccinations, what are the rules, do I need to fill in the forms? I'm going to go through all of that again in case any of you missed it, or you might be new to the channel and you haven't heard about that. So I will run through it all just now. So I'm going to start off with a little Canary Islands update on COVID. They have decreased. We've seen Tenerife drop back down into level 1, like in their warning system. We did reach 2,000 deaths in total since COVID began over here. Regarding healthcare pressure, the number of people in hospital dropped by 40% from 300 to 180 in the last 3 days, with 167 COVID patients in conventional beds and 13 admitted into intensive care units. So COVID-wise, we're back down to really good low levels now. A few weeks ago it did start to go up a bit, but back to normal with that, thankfully. No extra restrictions, no worries with that one. The Red Cross are heavily manning the beaches at the moment. They are really keeping an eye on the beaches, trying to stop people doing anything silly. They have helped various people as well. The tides can suck you out. We do get a lot of drownings and things like that in Tenerife, so do be careful. But the Red Cross have helped over 400 people in various situations on the beaches so far, so that's absolutely brilliant. That's for this summer. Now I'm going to jump into the next one, and that is that Vueling, low-cost airline, announces new routes from the UK to Canary Islands. Spanish-based low-cost airline Vueling has announced 3 new routes linking the UK to the Canary Islands. The newer winter flight operations will offer additional winter sun services for travellers looking to escape the British weather. Flights from London Gatwick to Tenerife start on December the 6th, departing 3 times a week, Tuesday, Friday and Sunday, with services to Gran Canaria beginning on December the 7th, operating on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Flights to Lanzarote begin on December the 8th, departing twice a week on a Thursday and Saturday. The launch of the new routes forms part of Vueling's advanced network design for a bit of a more transformative plan. So absolutely brilliant. If you're looking at coming over in the winter time, keep an eye on those Vueling flights. Might be a good option for you, particularly if you're travelling from London Gatwick or that area. Definitely keep an eye on those. They could come out cheaper than the usual. So that's good news. More flights coming into Tenerife. Absolutely brilliant. Next little one I wanted to mention, Spain travel rules. UK and EU travellers face different rules at the border. So I'm going to refresh everyone exactly what the rules are if you're from the UK, or if you're from the EU and you've got an EU passport, it's slightly different. So I'm going to read through all of this, and hopefully it does help you. I get various questions regarding this every single day on Instagram, Facebook, etc. So I'm going to refresh everyone just so you're all set. This is in place for the next month or so. It's very likely to be extended again, so doesn't look like this is going to change anytime soon. So these are the current rules. This applies to Canary Islands and mainland Spain. Holidaymakers from the UK and other countries outside of the EU or Schengen area need to show proof of full vaccination, proof of recovery from COVID-19, a negative test result taken in 24 hours of departure, or a negative PCR result taken 72 hours before. So it's one or the other. So if you're fully vaccinated, you've had 2 jabs, and your second jab is not older than 270 days ago, then all you need to do is show your NHS COVID pass. If you've only had 2 vaccinations, you are due to have your booster, your second jab is older than 270 days, then you either need to get that booster or you need to have a negative test because you don't qualify as fully vaccinated. If you want to travel with a recovery certificate, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that all of your details are on it, your name, potentially your passport number if you can, and that's going to be within the last 6 months. If you want to travel with, there's 2 different tests you can have. If you want to pay for a more expensive PCR, that's going to give you a bit more time to prepare. You can have that 72 hours before. If you want to go for a cheaper antigen test, that's going to be 24 hours before. It's cheaper, but it's right before your flight. Just to recap exactly what the rules are. Tourists from within the EU or Schengen area no longer need to show any COVID-19 documents in order to entry. So if you're from anywhere inside Europe with a European passport, you don't need to show anything. Visitors from outside the EU, however, still need to show proof of vaccination or a recovery certificate or a negative test through the EU digital COVID certificate or another valid document, so that's your NHS COVID pass. If you don't have a certificate, you must fill in Spain's health control form with these details, receiving a QR form that gets you through the airport. So if you're going to take a negative test, that's fine. You will need to fill in the Spanish QR form online as well. I'll leave the link to that in the description. Either a PCR or rapid antigen test taken within 72 or 48 hours before arrival will also be accepted. So there you go. What counts as fully vaccinated in Spain? A lot of people asking me this. In order to be considered fully vaccinated by the Spanish government, all travellers must have received their second jab at least 14 days prior to their trip. You must be vaccinated with a complete course of a vaccine approved by the WHO or EMA. In line with other EU countries, Spain has set an expiration date of 270 days on vaccination passports. This means booster jabs will be required if your second jab was more than 9 months ago. There is no requirement for 14 days to have passed since getting any further booster jabs and entering Spain, and there is currently no expiration date on the boosters, so you don't need a second booster. If you've had the booster, that's it, that's your 3 jabs, you're done. And there is no 14-day prior on the booster. It's the first and second where that applies. What are Spain's vaccination and COVID test rules for UK travellers? UK citizens who have not had a coronavirus vaccine are now free to travel to Spain, provided they can prove they don't have the virus. As with EU travellers, one of the 3 following certificates will be required. A negative test taken within 72 hours if it's a PCR, or an antigen test taken within 24 hours. A vaccination certificate or a certificate of recovery at least 11 days after testing positive, and it's valid for 6 months, that one, if you want to travel with a recovery certificate. The Spanish authorities will accept the NHS COVID pass as proof of vaccination, either digitally on your phone or printed out. Tests are not required from double-jabbed Brits, but the UK Foreign Office notes that all travellers may be subject to additional checks at the point of entry, so they might grab you for an additional screening at the airport if they wanted to. They might ask you to do another test, or they might, scan you, check your heat, your temperature. So you might get additional checks, very unlikely. Spain's border health controls page suggests that if, for example, an airport temperature check raises concerns, tourists could be contacted and required to take a PCR test at any point within 48 hours of their arrival in Spain or Canary Islands. So I hope that does help you out. Unvaccinated Brits still need to fill out the health form unless recently recovered. So if you're unvaccinated, you've got to fill in that health form. If you are fully vaccinated, you just show your COVID pass on your phone. It's completely random at the airport. On my flight, when I flew in a couple of weeks ago, they were checking everyone. On other people's flights, they didn't check. It's very random. You might just go through and not have to show anything. That doesn't mean the rules have changed. It just means that it's random checks. They haven't got the staff to check everyone. They will randomly pick people out, or randomly by numbers, every other person, check that you've got everything that you need to have or should have. And what are the rules for children and teenagers? Children under 12 do not need to show proof of a vaccination or undergo any tests. This rule applies for the whole of Spain, Canary Islands and the Balearic Islands as well. Those aged between 12 and 17 no longer have to be fully vaccinated and can get into Spain with a negative PCR test result taken within 72 hours before arrival. Antigen tests are now also being accepted and must be taken 24 hours before departure. So if you're in between 12 and 17 years old, you can get in with a negative test, either antigen or PCR, if they're not fully vaccinated. Alternatively, fully vaccinated British children aged 12 to 15 are able to prove their immunity with the NHS COVID app for international travel. Without this proof, travellers aged 12 and over must complete the health form within 48 hours before travelling to Spain. So I hope that does help you. This will all be in the description if you want to read through it all. It is quite a handy article. It does go into quite a bit of detail as well. Our masks still required in Spain only on public transport, so buses, trains, aircrafts. However, when I travelled through Tenerife Airport a couple of weeks ago, I didn't have to put it on the bus to the aircraft, didn't have to put it on in the airport, and I didn't have to put it on in the plane. So I think it sort of applies, but I have seen taxis making people put them on, and the public buses as well. If you want to get on the public bus and you've got no mask, the driver will simply kick you off. So it's handy to have a mask just in case you need to use one of those. If you had to all of a sudden jump in a taxi, it's handy just to have a mask in your pocket with you, because they are still required on public transport. But in terms of bars, shops, all of that, not at all. Some of the things that I want to mention that I've observed talking about taxis. I've seen a lot of stick going on in various Facebook groups regarding taxis at the moment. They are very busy. There is a shortage of them as well. Peak times, such as everyone heading to Siam Park, you're going to wait a good 15-20 minutes for a taxi between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, everyone wanting to go the same place. They are very scarce. However, a lot of the posts that I'm seeing are all regarding change. A few of the taxi drivers are taking advantage and saying, oh, well, I haven't got change for that note. And as a result, the person paying for the taxi has to give quite a bit of a tip. For example, someone was saying their fare was €7. They handed in a 10. The driver claimed he had no change, and the passenger had to give the full €10 and leave a €3 tip. They should always have change. If not, you can always normally pay by card now in there. All the people saying that the taxis are taking advantage, they're going on longer routes, you know, trying to take advantage of people who might not know the area, going up onto the motorway and all around town just for a quick short journey. That is all over Facebook. It's a bit of a common theme. And what the big suggestion is when people are replying to these comments and posts is try and agree roughly what you're doing before you get in the taxi. So check you can pay by cash, ideally have some change on you, check what route they're going to do, and just try and, you know, make sure they know that you're aware of what's going on, because a few people are being taken advantage of. I don't know anyone personally, but I've seen a lot of people posting this in the groups. It seems to be a very common theme, so just be careful with the taxis. Ideally have some change on you. You can pay by card, but they are very busy, so if you want one, make sure you leave plenty of time. It's not like it used to be where you just flag one down and there'd be loads sitting at the ranks. At busy times, you can be waiting half an hour, even longer, to get a taxi, especially for those peak hours with Siam Park. Other thing I wanted to mention, which is great news, we have got a new Tenerife app coming out. It's called My Tenerife. When it's downloadable and it is fully released, I will make a video on it and show you how it works, how you can download it. It's completely free. It's going to have excursions on there. It's going to have where all the acts are on of an evening time, so it's going to be able to update you on what acts might be on in certain bars. You're going to be able to book flights on it. It's going to have a variety of things. I will also have a section on that app as well. There will be a KnightStrider section where you can go on and look at some of my posts and some of my videos too. I'm on the app, but I'm not involved in the business side of things. It's not my app, but I am on there. I am involved in it. I've seen some very exciting prospects from it as well. So as soon as that's out, I'll get you to download it. It's going to be able to track your location, let you know what's on around bars near you that might be in your area at the time. It's going to be very, very good, and as soon as it's available, I'll make a video on the channel and get you all to download it, and you can have a little look at it, see what you think. It could be absolutely for you. It does seem to be the way everything's heading now, all on apps, all on phones, QR codes, etc. So it could be A big saver of time for you, save a bit of money as well, and help you maximise your holiday. If you're only here for a week, you want to go and see certain acts, you want to know what's going on there, you want to get some drinks offers, etc. It could be really, really handy for you, so that is coming out too. In general, it's extremely hot. I'm seeing plenty of people are sunburned, so make sure you slap on the sun cream. It's very hot. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, the temperature's similar to the UK here. The big difference is the sun is a lot stronger here than it is in the UK. Those UV rays, they will burn you very quickly. So do slap on the sun cream, keep reapplying it as well. If you want to do specific bars and restaurants, try and make a reservation at least a few nights in advance if you've got somewhere specific that you want to go to. If you have found the video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. We do have normally Tenerife videos every single day. We do live streams, bits of news, excursions, restaurants, bars, you name it, it's all on the channel. We've got over 700 videos now and over 15 million views, so thank you all very much for tuning in. And make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well. If I missed anything, drop it down in the comments if you found anything important or you noticed anything in particular, if you've been over that you'd recommend someone to do or look out for. That's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Stride on, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.